Hello, and welcome to Monster Match. Thank you for trusting us today with your heart. I see that you have registered as a human. We hope that we can have you in the arms of your chosen monster as soon as possible. On this app, we hope to give everyone a chance at love. I can also see that you are a returning user, which means that you know for safety protocols, we have only a selection of 10 monsters for you to choose from today. Please bear with me as I go through a few other disclaimers and notifications that are needed at the beginning of every session. If you are a monster seeking other monsters, please move over to our Entwined app. The fates there will help you find a match with your intended mate much faster than trying to find one with a human that you are not looking for currently. If you are a hunter seeking to hunt the monsters on our app, please leave. The patrons are getting tired of chasing you around and eating you. Thank you. Now, if you are a monster hunter who is seeking monsters for other reasons, we welcome you. However, we suggest that you go to our other app called Redacted, as that is intended to protect your privacy and your safety and the safety of the monsters that you are interested in. Thank you. Now, with that out of the way, we will begin today's session of 10 monsters for you to choose from. We hope that this session is successful in finding you your perfect match. Your first match of the day is Aurelius, the dragon. Aurelius is a disowned dragon from his dragon family, so if you're looking to date him for all of his gold hoard, you're looking in the wrong place. The kind of thing that Aurelius likes to collect is dice, specifically for his tabletop RPG games. His hoard of dice is apparently the number one in the world. However, his collection of RPG books is not to be ignored either. It is quite extensive that it can almost be considered a hoard on its own. His cave is actually a large mansion, so if that's something that tickles your fancy, perhaps you would like to go and play a game that he enjoys there. Aurelius is not just an introvert, however, he does like going on long flights in the waning light of sunset. So if you enjoy flying in the orange glow of the setting sun, perhaps that can be your first date. There is a chance that if you choose to date Aurelius, his family may take some small issue with you being of the human variety of person. Aurelius is very firm in standing against them when it comes to protecting his chosen partner. So you probably won't have to worry about that too much, but it is a warning that we feel obligated to give the users of this app. Safety first for all those involved in our app. That is what we stand by. Your second match for this session is the vampire, Camilla. Now, with all creatures of vampire and other sorts similar to them, we like to give a small warning that any act of theirs to consume part of you is not necessary as a part of dating them. That is something that should be a conversation between you and them before it is ever attempted on their behalf. With that said, Camilla is a wine taster. She enjoys her fine beverages, so to speak, and she is not Carmilla. It is Camilla. There is apparently an important distinction. Maybe there is another vampire of a famous sort that she is trying not to be confused with. She is a high-born vampire, and therefore would prefer a higher-born mortal, but is not altogether that picky at this point in time. She has a rather refined taste in most things, which means that in most cases you will probably be going to a date at a ball, or a dance, or some sort of charity event. In the cases where it is just the two of you alone, well, she hasn't provided much information on that. So you will get to discover that little tidbit of this particular vampire if you choose her. Good luck. Your third pick of the night is the Harpy, Jackson. Jackson is a bit of an enigma among his kind, as they tend to be a little bit more bird-brained, but Jackson is perhaps able to be a bit more mindful than a majority of his folk. That said, he enjoys using his wings to fly high above mountains and take photos, so that others can enjoy the majesty that the Harpies enjoy all the time. His photography is, well, known for the most part in the monster community, but it is not exactly earth-shattering. At least not yet. He says that the reason why he would like to find a partner on an app such as this is he needs to be a little bit more grounded. He's finding himself in the mountains and in the air a little bit more and more as the years pass. Perhaps you can bring his feet back down to the ground where he would like to stay. Now, Jackson is not entirely a talkative type, but perhaps you can find a way to loosen his lips a little bit more than anyone else in the world. After all, the eyes are the window to the soul, and Harpies have quite big eyes, so you might be able to see the soul beneath that Jackson tries to hide from everyone. Your fourth pick of this session is the witch, Medea. She is an investigative reporter for the Magic Council, or the Magic Newspaper. It's very hard to tell with all of her scribbles, which are nearly impossible to read. For her, the truth is very important, and that is why she likes to investigate in her spare time on the other types of magic that are not bound in nature, in the elements of the world itself. And as a result, she is highly skeptical of those other types of magic. For her, a partner would be someone that is able to be honest with her, regardless of whether or not it makes her feel good or bad, and not feeling too threatened that she might turn you into a toad or a lizard or something of that sort when you are being honest with her. So, I suppose, keep in mind that as a witch, she does have magic powers, and being too honest does have its drawbacks. Your fifth pick of today is the merperson, Scott. He likes to describe himself as an unstoppable force, always moving forward, always looking forward, always heading to the future. He enjoys web design and coding, which, for someone who lives mostly underwater, is an odd hobby to have, and despite that, he still moves forward. As a merperson, and being required to stay underwater, a majority of your visits with him will probably be in his underwater home. For those rare moments when he is able to walk upon the land, you will probably be on the beach so that he is not, beached, so to speak. He is, after all, bound to the ocean, and The ability to have legs is rather rare and difficult skill for them to learn, but he has learned it for the purpose of dating, potentially, you. Your sixth pick of this session is the ghost, Velma. I can't quite put my finger on it, but she seems very familiar, especially with the way she always says jinkies. Anyways, Velma has forgotten more or less who she was before she became a ghost, and has focused all her attention and passion on ghost hunting. Yes, I know it might be a little bit ironic that a ghost is into ghost hunting and sometimes exorcisms, but it is something she enjoys doing, and many of the local ghost hunters and exorcists enjoy her help. She is rather scared of heights, and part of her passion is to try and solve every mystery she comes across. The only mystery she can't seem to solve is who she was before she became a ghost. Perhaps it's a mystery that the two of you can work on together. Your seventh pick. Oh dear. Before we begin with your seventh pick, I severely apologize for the rudeness that he tends to display. After all, he believes he is entitled to much of the world as it is, simply because of who he is. If that doesn't put you off, or you think you can fix that aspect of him, I present to you the unicorn, Terence Ulysses Reginald Donaldson. He professes himself to be a regal, but in this case I would correct it to mean pretentious, person, as well as having a great love of fencing. There isn't all that much to say about Terence, except that he believes that he is the greatest that ever was, and has a tendency to try and capture other monsters in small, spherical containers. I hope that you dissuade him of doing this in the future, or at least don't encourage it. I wish you good luck if you choose Terence as your partner. Your eighth pick of this session is the angel, Feathers. She is one of the winged folk that does not see herself as our guardians, or our betters, or our guides, or any of the other things that angels generally see. She instead wants to learn more about mortals in every fashion possible, including this one. That is why her major hobby is human studies. She will also tell you herself that she tends to have been on the wrong path. She almost became a fallen as a result of this path, but has since course-corrected and is hoping that studying humans and hopefully interacting with people such as yourself, she can find a better way, the better path, the way to redemption, so to speak. And it's not that you can give her redemption, but maybe you can show her how to do so. And if you don't, you still might have some fun flying over cities with her and pointing out the sights, maybe even landing at the sights to spend some time together. Your ninth pick is Bob, the satyr. Bob is a fairly laid-back satyr, without too many passions in life, preferring to simply go with the flow, as it were. The things that he is most passionate about is recycling and music, particularly metal music, or at least that's what he says. Bob has a tendency to mix up metal and rock music from time to time, and hopefully you can teach him the real difference between the two if you enjoy that kind of thing. With Bob, you will get a partner who is there for you and is also very laid back about most things. And hopefully that will draw you in and the two of you can create a laid back existence together. The final pick for this session is the Fey Lady, who has many titles, so bear with me for a moment. Lady of the Night, the Bringer of Morning, High Lady of the Court of Stars, She Who Walks Unseen. As she understands that mortals do not work along the same parameters as Fae do, she has provided a name for you to use, Emily. Emily is very into gardening and the nocturnal activities, as those bring her a lot of joy. If you choose her, you will probably watch the sunset more often than the sunrise, as she likes to bring the day into night, as that is her Fey duty. She also enjoys gardening, but as she does not see the day very often, her garden tends to be of the nocturnal kind, so you may find yourself on a date many a times taking care of the growing plants of the nocturnal garden that she has cultivated. Hopefully you enjoy that kind of activity. And she does have one particular thing to be said to every person that decides to pick her. If you deal fairly with her, she will deal fairly with you. In other words, be careful what you promise her, and be careful what you say, as it will always be binding in your relationship. That's just the way the Fae work. But it does work in the other way as well. All promises and words she says to you are binding to her as well. I hope that doesn't deter you too much. And those are our 10 picks for today. Aurelius, the dragon; Camilla, the vampire; Jackson, the harpy; Medea, the witch; Scott, the merperson; Velma, the ghost; Terence, the unicorn; Feathers, the angel; Bob, the satyr; and Emily, the Fey Lady. I hope that one of these are your preferred match for your happiness and your future. However, if none of these catch your eye, I do hope that you will return and get another 10 monsters, one of which who may be your perfect match. We thank you for choosing Monster Match for all your needs of the heart, from monster to human. Hello, my sparkles of adventure. If you made it this far in the video, thank you. I'd also like to thank Juany and Silent for helping me get this project kind of off the ground from its initial thought process stages, which a lot of ideas don't get past because I don't know how to really make them into reality. I also thought it would be a little bit of fun to reveal something for all of my viewers that I promised months ago. And here it is. Thanks to Vidara ASMR, I may need to put a link to her actual channel in the description below, but thanks to her and, being willing to work with me, I'm finally able to get the Keymaster, at least I think that's what I called it, but the official avatar of the channel up and running. And I'm going to keep working with her so that there's a little bit more range of motion. But I finally have the initial stuff that allows me to at least emote at the end of every video, so that it's not just the same picture throughout the last 2-3 minutes. It's going to add a little bit of time into every audio, but I think it's worth it to try and put everything together for all of you. That said, I do hope that everyone that's struggling was able to kind of step out of their lives for the length of this video. It's a little bit longer than some of my other ones, and obviously maybe not as well put together as some of my other ones. But still, the whole purpose of this channel is to try and take people out of their days so that for 10, 15, 20 minutes, they just are a listener. There's someone else, somewhere else, without their problems. Because I hope that those 15 minutes, those 20 minutes, are able to recharge you so you can go back and take on the rest of your day. And with that in mind, I'll see you next time.